So this is the ritual that we use usually every Saturday at the end of Shabbat to transition from the energies of a holy day and into the energies of weekday, from the consciousness, the uplifted consciousness of a day called Shabbat into the mundane consciousness of the work week. And that's why we actually are using different tools that are there to awaken us to our senses again. They're all human senses related. Because it probably is said that on Shabbat we are only soul. We are floating in an altered state of consciousness, and we need this time to come back to our bodies, to come back to our senses. It's like when when you do scuba diving, you cannot just rise to the surface in one shot. You have to go in different layers and different stages, and this is the several stages we're going to take to go back. However, there's one Havdallah service, this one, where instead of moving from a high level of consciousness to a mundane state of consciousness, we shift from a high level of consciousness to a higher level of consciousness. Because these high holy days are the high holy days, not the low holy days. So we're going to use a cup of wine. We're going to use spices. We're going to use light. We're going to use singing. We're going to use taste. We're going to use touch. And we're going to help each other step into the energies of the high holy days. So we start with the blessing over the wine. And what is required for the blessing over the wine, what is required for us to step into the energies of the high holiday, is to come to the table with an empty cup. You can't come to the high holidays with a cup full to the rim of the year that was. You have to come to this moment with an empty cup, so that through the next 18 days you may be able to meet whatever it is that is waiting for you to meet, so that you can fill your cup anew for the rest of the year. But you have to start on empty. You have to start emptying yourself. And then, only then, to fill your cup of life with new tasty energies. I left the Manischewitz at home today because I knew I was going to use the word tasty. It's a dualistic consciousness. You can't have one without the other. Or actually, you can't have one with the other. Right. So what is required of us? What is required of us for these high holidays is to show up. To show up with our empty cup. To be here. To be able to receive. And once we show up, even if our cup is empty, we bless. We bless now, which is what we do during the Havdallah. You bless first, and instead of drinking the wine right away, you have to wait for the rest of all the blessings, and you drink the cup at the very end. And that's the metaphor for the high holidays. You come with your empty cup and you bless already whatever it is that you're going to receive, and even if you have no idea what is waiting for you over the next 18 days. Because what we bless is the process, not the outcome. If you've come here with expecting a certain outcome, you're missing the point altogether. Because now you're attached. You're attached to a certain outcome. So let go. And bless whatever it is you will receive these high holy days. We say the words together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Blessed One, you are the emptiness that manifests as form, the source of all that is, the creator of the fruit of the vine. The next blessing is over spices. So I'm going to pass around a few of the spice bags as I introduce the spices. Pass them around in your neighborhood and have everybody smell the spices. It's okay. Spices in our tradition, especially from the mystic's point of view, the Kabbalah, spices are a metaphor for states of consciousness. And there is actually a hierarchy of spices in Torah. There are some spices that are at a higher level than others. Probably because in ancient times, some spices were harder to find than others. And so in fact, there was a hierarchy of spices, probably based on the price that people ask for them. For example, the highest spice in Torah is called maradachia. Maradachia is translated as pure myrrh. And pure myrrh is the highest level of consciousness, the highest of the spices. Maradachia actually in the story of Purim gave the name to one of the heroes of the story of Purim, who is compared to the highest of all the spices, the one that is at the highest level of consciousness. Maradachia is Mordechai in Purim. So there is a complete aspect of a Kabbalistic understanding of the holiday of Purim that is also connected to that. But the truth is that we bless here the potpourri of all the spices available to us, because none of us live at the Maradachia level of consciousness. We live at all the levels all at once. Sometimes we reach a little higher, sometimes barely at the lower ones. But we are living in a world where all of this is available to us, that we can travel through all of those ways of being, ways of understanding, from the most physical to the most transcendent. So here is what we are blessing. We bless the possibility of traveling through all those places. And we bless the possibility of us to awaken to the highest, most transcendent levels of consciousness. The blessing is Boreh Mineh Vesamin. And in English, say it with me. Blessed One, you are the emptiness that manifests as form, the source of all that is, the creator of multiple kinds of spices. The next blessing is the blessing of the light. It is our tradition when we do this blessing to cup our hands and to look at the light of the flame reflected on our fingernails. And we realize as we do this that every time we cup our hands and see the light reflected in our fingernails, we also see that there is a shadow that is being cast behind our fingers in the palm of our hands. And this is also a metaphor for our life. All of us are exposed to the light of consciousness, to the light of the divine light that infuses everything and is reflected in each and every one of us. But also at this level of reality, we understand that you cannot have light without casting a shadow. That you can have good without evil. That at this level of reality, we live in a dualistic consciousness. And both the light and the darkness, we are commanded to remember, are an expression of that same one light. And I love the Havdallah candle because I see it as the rudimentary depiction of a human being, the quintessential stick figure. We are the Havdallah candle, and our spiritual head is on fire. I mean, I see the flame. If we could film this and then do a fast reverse, we would see the flame actually going down, right? And that is the truth. The light of being is coming as this burst of energy and infuse all of our being. It's actually going this way, even if you have the illusion of the light going up, it's actually coming in. And we all have so many strands. The Havdallah candle is braided candle, and here there are at least 8 different strands that are braided together to make the candle. And that's us. We are made of multiple strands of who we are. So we are to remember that the energy that animates us is the light of the One. The blessing is Boré Meoré Ha'esh. And we say together in the English, Blessed One, you are the emptiness that manifests as form, the source of all that is, the creator of the light of the flame. Last is the Havdallah blessing at the bottom of page 4. Havdallah means transition. Havdallah means separation. So the blessing that we share together is a blessing for this moment of transition. That we may begin the process of meeting our anxieties and our insecurities. That we begin a process of letting go of our need to control the river of life. That we may open ourselves to the flow of divine energy that is yearning to express as us and through us. So we read the English together. I'm going to ask for the lights to come back up so that everybody can read. We read the English at the bottom of page 4. Blessed One, you are the emptiness that manifests as form, the source of all that is, the one who distinguishes the holy from the ordinary, the light from the dark, the spiritual path of the people called Israel from the spiritual path of other peoples, the seventh day from the 6 days of creating. Blessed One, you are the emptiness that manifests as form, the one who separates that which is holy from that which is yet to be holy. And the blessing we share is Hamavdil ben Kodesh lechol. l'chaim. And we are on the top of page 5. And we now take the time we extinguish the light of our divine self inside the container that is our cup of life. We bring light of awareness into the container of our lives. So whatever it is that you are seeking to awaken to these high holy days, bless it now. Hey.